Hey friends, welcome back. So, if it's a little echoing in here, I'm sorry, but I'm in the baby's nursery, and if obviously it's not done yet because she wanted to come early. So, anywho, I thought I would give you guys my what do you call it? Like my birth story on why I went into labor earlier and why I had the baby early and what happened and things like that. And if you're wondering, I know a lot of people are going to say, like, why aren't you resting? I am. I don't have a baby at home. And I have to wake up every 3 hours to pump. And so my sleep schedule is already on the baby schedule. So basically, my life is I eat because the breastfeeding is making me so hungry. I take my pain medicine because I am still sore, but it's not terrible, but it's sore. I can walk. Obviously, if you don't walk after having a C-section, you're just going to make it worse. So um, I just got up to feed. I mean, not to feed, but to milk. To milk. I'm a cow. um, to pump. Anyways. All right. So what happened? All right. So I was doing everything right. If you don't know, I've had 2 premature births already. 28 weeks and 33 weeks with Ava and Isaac. And so my goal was to make it as far in this pregnancy as I could with baby Boo. So I was getting progesterone injections, which were the Makina injections, every single Saturday. My nurse was coming to my house and giving me those, and that helped with not dilating. And I was also taking like baby aspirin to help with my blood pressure because with Ava I had a blood pressure issue, and that's why I delivered early. And then with both of those pregnancies, I was already dilated 2 to 3 centimeters around 5 months. So I was doing everything that I could on my end. Sorry, I'm eating cake to prevent going into labor early, and I was fine. My issue is I kept getting a lot of bladder infections, and we couldn't figure out why. It wasn't because of having sex or anything like that. I just kept getting a lot of bladder infections. I had 5 with this pregnancy, and I didn't even go full term. So last Tuesday, I woke up. It was like 2 in the morning. I had been moaning all night long. I have been getting some Braxton Hicks, but I'm not like a dramatic person, so I wasn't like really dramatic whenever I would get Braxton Hicks contractions. And a lot of it stemmed from the bladder infections that I was getting. So um, that morning, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was like I was walking around holding my back. My back was hurting. I was practically crying in tears. I decided to, stick it out. Took some Tylenol. It didn't help. And I'm just holding my back and like just having these contractions. So that morning, I got the kids off to school. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the hospital. I passed the hospital on my way to work, and I just can't. I told Boo Thing, I was like, I have to go to the hospital. Like, something's not right. And he's like, okay, well, let me know what happens. He's at work. And I was already scheduled to go to the doctor that week anyways on Thursday last week to have another ultrasound because they wanted to make sure that the blood flow from the umbilical cord wasn't elevated, and it had been elevated prior. And so, but it wasn't, it was fine. So I get to the ER and I'm barely walking. I didn't want to be dramatic and like get a wheelchair, but the people in the front saw me and they're like, no, let me push you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I didn't want. So they push me. I get upstairs, and my contractions are like 4 to 5 minutes apart. They stop them. They do everything to stop the contractions and find out that, I have a bad bladder infection. And it was maybe something with my kidneys. And again, People might say, oh, you drink too much soda. Nope, that's not it. I craved water so much during this pregnancy, believe it or not. It's just something, some women get bladder infections when they're pregnant, and I just happen to be one of those. So my doctor was like, he came to the hospital right away. He's like, this is so strange. And he's like, I want to watch you for the rest of the day. And, I'll see if I'll let you go home. And I said, I'm okay with spending the night in the hospital. I will feel better. And he was like, done deal. We'll just keep you here. So, I didn't, because I live far from the hospital, I didn't want to go home and then it happens again and then have to drive all the way back. So if I felt better just being in the hospital. So anyways, while I'm in the hospital, you're on the monitor 24/7 with the baby, and my heart rate, the baby's heart rate would drop here and there, like in between contractions. And I was still getting them, but they were like maybe once every 2 hours. Like it was like not consistent. So after a few days, they were like, I was having an ultrasound every day to check the baby's blood flow, everything. There was no cord wrapped around her neck. The cord wasn't near her. Everything looked good. But I still would get these contractions. So finally, they still kept me there, and I was being seen by a high-risk doctor every day as well. And I was having daily ultrasounds. So I knew the baby's weight was in between 4'6", 4'10", so I was happy about that. But we couldn't figure out why the heart rate was dropping. So Saturday night, everybody had come to see me. Baby daddy had left. It was his sister's birthday. So he had went to her birthday party. And I was fine. The high-risk doctor had actually came that morning, and she was like, you should be discharged. She was like, you're going to see some D cells. They're not happening consistently. And she's like, I would have discharged you this morning, but my doctor wasn't on call. And the doctor that was on call didn't want to discharge me. And she's like, on Monday, we'll do one or two things. We will discharge you, or we will do a stress test with contractions. And if the baby's heart rate is dropping, we will just keep you in the hospital. And if it's dropping a lot and you're contracting more, we're going to deliver the baby. I'm like, okay. She's like, but I think you're going to do fine because, I'm laying on a bed 24 hours, but when I'm at home, I'm not laying in the bed. I wasn't on bed rest. There was no thinning in my cervix. Everything was closed. And so I was never concerned. Like, I wasn't panicked. I wasn't worried. I was just like, hey, I'm on vacation in the hospital. So anyways, like my mom, everybody that came to see me that day, and I don't really like visitors anyways. And Boo Thing was home with the kids. He'd bring the kids to see me, and I was okay at night, like I didn't need anybody to stay with me 24/7. So anyways, he goes to his sister's birthday, and we were texting here and there, and then I was getting ready to go to sleep, but I get my blood pressure drawn every hour. Like the nurses are in there every single hour. Well, around 2 o'clock that morning, 3 o'clock, I kept getting contractions. They were like, turn over on this side, turn over on this side, turn over on this side. So Boo Thing was home, was asleep, and, I wasn't panicked. I was fine. I don't call or text until they tell me, like, it's important, because I don't want people to rush and it's nothing, So anyways, finally, it was like at 5 in the morning, 5:30. I told the nurse came in, and like nothing was stopping them. They were coming every 2 to 3 minutes, and I was uncomfortable, but I wasn't crying or in pain. I was like, we need a plan B. Like, I can't just stay like this in a bed. Can I walk? And maybe the contractions will stop, but if I'm just laying down, the heart rate's going to keep dropping because I'm just doing the same thing. And I was just getting aggravated at that point. And like all of the nurses loved me, like, because I'm a super nice person. And so for me to start getting aggravated, they knew something was wrong. Like all the nurses was like, "You're so sweet," like, you know. And so she called the doctor. And at this point, it's like 5 in the morning. She called the doctor, and he's like, "Okay, I'll be there in 30 minutes." So it wasn't my doctor because my doctor wasn't on call. And so it happened to be a doctor that actually knew my mom very well, that worked with my mom. So I was really excited because when you see your doctor for all of these months and then all of a sudden another doctor's coming to deliver you, you're like, "I don't know you." So, anyways, um, he comes and he's like, "Okay, well, we're not going to let you go home." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." Um, he's not going to let me go home. Again, I'm okay with that. I've spent holidays in the hospital. I didn't care. I just wanted a solution as to why is this happening and like what are we going to do? And he's like, "You're getting these D cells and we need to figure out why." It was like a nobody could figure out what was going on. And I wasn't mad at the doctors or anything because all the ultrasounds were coming back. There's no cord, nothing. So the doctor was telling me when he got there, he's like talking to me about not letting me go home, and I'm fine. He's like, "You know, you saw the high risk doctor and she suggested that you do the um, the contraction stress test." He goes, "Look, we just did it basically without even putting you on any type of special monitoring, and you failed because the baby's heart rate is still dropping." And I was like, "Yeah." And while he's talking to me, they have me on oxygen at this point. Like, they're doing everything. I'm already on oxygen. And he looks at the monitor. He's like, "You're having another one." He's like, "They're 2 to 3 minutes apart." And he looks at the nurse and he goes, "Who's on call for anesthesia?" And at that point, I knew. And so he's like, "I think it's safe to say the best thing to do is we're going to deliver the baby." And I said, "Okay, I'm okay with that." Because I knew the baby's weight. I knew that I was further along in this pregnancy than I had ever been in any pregnancy. So I was okay with what was going on, and I wasn't panicked at all. So the first thing I do is, okay, I text baby daddy and I'm like, "Come now." And because I'm not calling him while I'm talking to the doctor. I'm texting. I'm like, "Come now." And he didn't reply. And I'm like, "Oh my God, he didn't reply." And so normally he replies right away. So then I call my mom so my mom could be on her way. And it's like 6 in the morning at this point. And she answers right away. And I said, "Come now, they're going to deliver the baby." And she's like, "I'm on my way." So then finally, I talked to baby daddy. I'm like, "Okay, get here now." And he's like, "I'm on my way." So they just like, I had a swarm of people just come in. I mean, there was nurses everywhere. Thank God that there was an issue with my IV because my IV started leaking and they had to start another one. And we were waiting on baby daddy to get there. He was like driving so fast to be there so he wouldn't miss it. But of course, my mom had made it like 15 minutes before him. And so he came right away and like they had his stuff ready, and the doctor was so nice. He was like, "Okay, how far away is your husband?" He called him my husband. It was so sweet. And I was like, "He's like 15 minutes." He's like, "Okay, that's fine. We'll wait for him. You know, we're not in any rush at this point. We've already got everybody ready. Anesthesia's there. Everybody had already come talk to me." So it was perfect timing because there was an issue with my IV, which bought more time for him to hurry and get there. So it was perfect. So once they actually got the IV in the other arm, because I'd had this other IV for 6 days already, and so it had kind of blue and the fluids were leaking, so they couldn't get a vein on this side, so they got one on this arm. And so by the time he walked in, they were ready to wheel me out, which gave him, my mom hurry up and got him dressed. And My mom was teasing him because my mom's been inside for every birth of my other kids. And she's like, you almost missed this one. She was like, I was about to take your spot. And it was just so funny because my mom works at a hospital where I had Ava, and my doctor allowed her to come in and be a third person. And normally there's only, well, I should say second person. There's only two people allowed, one person allowed, which is your significant other. But because my mom worked at the hospital where Ava was born, she got to be in there. And then I was younger when I had Isaac, and she was in there. So, anyways, that's that. So, anyways, so I'm going in, and boo things. They, they can't go in with you when you're getting your spinal. I didn't get an epidural. I got a spinal, which was not painful at all. It's always very nerve-wracking when you're hunched over and they're gonna, put this thing in your back. But I felt so safe around all the nurses. Like, I don't know. I was never scared. So, they started at 7:40 and the baby was out at 7:46 a.m. So she was out really fast. But, so I don't know. It's just something that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. You can't forget, really. But it's like it happened yesterday, even though it was a few days ago. But so baby daddy comes in there, after I get on the table and everything, they're ready to start. He comes in, and it was just so sweet. He just holds my hand, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was holding my hand, and I think he kind of like kissed my cheek, and the anesthesia doctor standing behind him, and I don't know, he was just so supportive. And the doctors and nurses are all talking, and I'm like fully coherent, by the way, during all of this. And so then I hear the anesthesia doctor say, "Okay, Dad, get your camera ready now." I mean, it was literally 5 minutes. And he's like, "Huh?" He's like, "Get your camera ready." He's like, "Okay." So he literally took pictures of them when they pulled her like out. Like, I have pictures of like my stomach and everything. I know people don't want to see that, but he was like, "I want to see it all." I'm like, "That's disgusting." But like, I'm cut open, and like he has pictures of like all of that. Just, I'm like, "Oh, that's just a little too much." So and then, I mean, when they pulled her out, and the doctor said, "Oh, it's a strong little girl, not like these wimpy boys we get." That baby has some lungs on her. And I was so happy because I had gotten one round of steroids while I was in the hospital. And one round of steroid injections helps the baby's lungs. And you have to have them like within 24 hours apart. And so I had only gotten one round, which was 2 injections. And so, they hurt like shit too. But, so anyways, they pull her out, and, he's like making sure the baby's okay. And like, I could hear her screaming, so I knew she was okay, and I was okay. Like, that made me feel better. And so, I tell him, "Go, go, go," because the nurses are like, "Come on, Dad." And he just kind of like looks at me. And I was like, "It's okay, I'm okay, just go." Because of course, I've had C-sections before. I know how this works, but he hasn't been with someone that had a C-section. So this was like all new to him. If you see this open, sorry, but it's just my nursing bra. And I feel like my nursing pads are coming down. But anyways, I'm like, "Go, go." So the room is next door where the baby is. And I can just hear her screaming. So I'm not worried at all. At this point, I'm worried about what's going on with my insides. And so I have a fibroid, and the doctor was like, "You have a fibroid here, but I don't want to touch it because if this thing bleeds, I'm going to have to do a full hysterectomy." And I was like, "Okay." So I did tie my tubes. but I have a lot of scar tissue, and he couldn't get to like one of my tubes, but then he got to it. But the more C-sections you have, like the more scar tissue you have on your uterus, and it's just not safe to have so many C-sections. Especially, I will say, for people in my situation, because I've had, bad pregnancies, but this one was going so good. I was so proud of myself. I wish I could have went longer, because that little stinker didn't let me get maternity pictures, and I was supposed to take them this coming weekend or next weekend. So I bought my maternity dress outfit that I was gonna wear, but I didn't get to wear it. But it's okay. I got my little sweet angel, and I got a baby shower. So, and I documented pretty much everything throughout this pregnancy. Even though I didn't post it on YouTube for myself, I made videos. I took pictures of like just everyday pictures of myself. But I wanted those maternity pictures so bad, but I didn't get it. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. But yeah, so the end result, they were, the doctor was saying that every time that I had a contraction, the placenta was not giving enough oxygen to the baby, and that's what was causing the heart rate to drop. And so, again, it was nothing that I was doing wrong. It was nothing that I could control. It was just something that was going on internally. And when things like that happen, it was crazy, because when I finally saw my doctor on Monday, he was like puzzled, and he's like, I just don't get it. He's like, that's not what you came in for. You came in because of contracting and your back was hurting, and we realized that you had, a pretty bad UTI. And from there, we went to having a baby. And my doctor was so sweet. He hugged me and everything. He's like, I'm really sorry. It's like, it's not your fault, it happened. And he's like, but the great thing is baby's safe. We got you out. We got baby out safely. Everything's good. And, she's doing so good. As bad as I hate leaving, my kids in the NICU, she's doing really, really good. She's been breathing on her own since she was born. They did give her the CPAP, but she's been breathing at 100% on her own. I was discharged today. Well, I should say yesterday, because technically it's Thanksgiving right now. But I was discharged Wednesday, which was yesterday. And she was already getting bottle feeds. And so she's just so strong. She was born at 4 pounds, 8 ounces, and 17 inches long, and she was still super early, 2 months early. And I can imagine, if I would have been full term, how big that baby would have been, because she was breached, so she was resting, and they said that she did not look like she was gonna turn at all. She was straight, comfortable. Her feet were in my bladder. That's why I peed so much, and she just was comfortable. She was resting. She was content where she was, and yeah. So, like I said, she's doing really, really good. Her weight has dropped, but if you don't know, babies' weights drop once they're born. She still has a tube in her nose to get food, but she's doing bottle feeds. But when she doesn't bottle feed, they're giving it to her over a 30-minute span. But she is able to suck the bottle and down that milk. They've already increased her feedings, so she gets a lot of, she's getting 24 milliliters now, and they started at 12. And they started at 12 Tuesday, and it's now Thursday. Or was it Wednesday? I can't remember. But anyways, she's already getting 24, so she's doing like amazing. So now it's just a matter of her picking up her weight, keeping her body temperature warm, and maintaining her food and being able to suck and grow. So I don't think she'll be there long. My fingers are crossed that she isn't. I'm thinking maybe 2 weeks tops, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I can't go over there as often. I don't live close to the hospital, but my mom does, so my mom goes. My mom went, I was discharged today, well, technically yesterday, and so my mom already went to see her. I'll just go once a day because it's too hard for me to go more than once a day because I live so far. So I'll just sit over there for like 2 hours and make sure I have enough milk to keep supplying. My milk has come in really, really good, which I had no idea how that was going to work because this is my first time breastfeeding and pumping with having breast implants. But I guess that's like a whole nother video because this video is already like 30 minutes long. But I knew everybody wanted to know like what happened and how she's doing, and she's just doing really good. I did post a little bit on Instagram. If I can remember when I'm uploading this video, I'll post some footage for people that don't have Instagram, and you can see how well she's doing. But yeah, it's kind of like I don't want to like not share some stuff with you guys because you guys have been with me from the beginning, and then you shared all of the joy in finding out that I was pregnant, and I want to share some of these precious moments with you guys too, not just tell you everything. And of course I want you guys to see Baby Boo 2019, who's now Baby Boo 2018. And yes, she has a name, and she's been named, and it's official what her name is. I'll do a name reveal video. Ava and Peyton have not seen her yet because it's flu season, and the NICU doesn't allow anyone in there under the age of 18 because of flu season. Now, if it wasn't flu seasons, because they're siblings, yes, they could go in, but they can't. But my son, Isaac, which is my 19, almost 20-year-old, he has been there to see her. So he came and he hung out with her. So yeah, so I will do the name reveal video. I think I'm going to let Tupi do it just because I want her and Ava to be a part of something, because I feel bad that, you know, they can't see the baby yet, and everybody else has seen the baby. So they're like, oh, it's not fair. So yeah, so anyways, everything's going good, and I still have like all my baby shower stuff here, and I need to like go through it. We got the bassinet, and we got the stroller, the car seat. We had all of these packages that were delivered while I was in the hospital. But yeah, and I know somebody's gonna say this, and I have no idea what this is. So if you guys want to tell me in the comments, I've seen it. People keep telling me this: have a virtual baby shower. Someone told me that in Instagram comments, and somebody keeps telling me that in the comments here. What is that? Is that just you guys watching me open this stuff and I'm doing it live, and you want to see what I got? I have no idea what that is, but people keep asking me to do it. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what a virtual baby shower is. I have no idea. But I think I asked y'all before, and y'all were like, open the stuff, show you guys what I got, because I have not really opened it. And like I said, I used all my gift cards to buy everything that we needed. And I am going to do a room tour for my bedroom because that's where the bassinet is going. So I should have that video up like late next week, because we are having to like put our room together because she may come home sooner than we expect. And we need to have everything at least somewhat put together for her. So yeah, so that is all I have for now. I am embracing my body right now. I've never felt so, I don't know what the right word is. I'm not in a rush to lose my weight, although I'm losing it pretty fast. I'll show you guys. But I just don't care. I've never cared like about my weight or anything, but I'm so content with just being able to give my baby milk. Like, I don't care about my body. Isn't that crazy? I feel like my body is this amazing thing right now. and my baby needs it, and that's all I care about. But it's insane. I don't know. I feel like this pregnancy took me to a whole nother level. But I think my foot's asleep. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me show y'all my stomach. Oh, my foot's asleep. All right, so here we go. This is, I had her on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 5 days. And yeah. And these are my big old noggins. But yeah, my stomach's, I don't care if it ever went down. I really don't. But I do wear like a belly band, not to help my stomach go down, but just because when I'm walking, when I get up, if you've never had a C-section, there's a lot of pressure down there. When they were putting me back together, that's the most painful part. You feel it all in your chest when they're putting all your insides back into you, but it's not the worst thing. I don't know, it might be. It's pretty painful. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I'm embracing my body. I'm embracing this time. I'm loving it. I'm happy. And I'm so happy that I have such supportive couponing friends that understand that I probably don't care about couponing at all right now. I am just living for everything that's going on in my life right now, and it just makes me super happy that you guys are interested in this, because I feel like we've been on this journey together for 3 years, and it's been a pretty wild ride. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to end this video. It's at 31 minutes. That's a long time. I probably just bored y'all on Thanksgiving. But anyways, happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I can't say that there won't be any couponing videos, because there might be, because I actually do need to buy wipes. So I probably will be going to the store just to get things here and there. I am taking it easy. I know people are going to be like, girl, you need to rest. Trust me, there's nothing I can do. I can't even drive. Like, I have no car right now. I can't drive. You know what it's like for me not to be able to drive, and I have to ask people to take me places. So yeah, I mean, well, I have a car, but I can't drive. I can't do anything. I couldn't even lift my turkey to go in the oven. I had to wake Boothang up and be like, okay, babe, put it in the oven, which, of course, he was like, let me know when I need to lift it, because I still want it to, like, cook. But I'm not, like, cooking. I just put a turkey in the oven. My mom's making everything else. But, yeah. All right, guys. I'm rambling. All right. I love you to the moon and back, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.